viewers, welcome to another thrilling episode of your exciting program, The Voice of Eve. Today, we shall explore the topic, the plight of a Nigerian stepchild. A stepchild, as we all know, is the offspring of one's spouse, but not one's own offspring. A stepchild is also a child of one's husband or wife in a present marriage, from a previous marriage, or even outside the marriage. It is not a thing of envy in Nigeria to be a stepchild. It is often seen as a thing of shame. Worse still is if the parent of the stepchild is absent. The parent is seen as evil or bad in such situation. A stepchild in Nigeria is associated with lots of plights due to this stigmatization. Plights such as poverty, economic deprivation, and even sexual molestation. But is that all? There is more to it than meets the ordinary eyes. And that is why we have today in our studio a guest who will throw more light on this discussion. Because as they say, knowledge is power. But before we introduce our guest to you, we would like to take a short break. But I am your host, Flora Ungo Martins. Don't go anywhere, we'll be right back. Welcome back, and if you're just joining us, we are still on the topic, the plight of a Nigerian stepchild. We have with us today a very special guest in the studio. She's no stranger to the studio. She's a moral crusader, a social activist, and a social analyst. She's also a mother, an MC, and an event planner. Her name is Princess Osareme Segun Edu. You're welcome to the studio.
Thank you, my pleasure being here.
It's good to have you back.
Thank you.
So we are talking about the plight of a Nigerian stepchild. We all know who a stepchild is.
Of course.
But what challenges do Nigerian stepchild face in this country?
Well, we can't say, if we say we want to start talking about the challenges that
Yes.
a stepchild faces
Yes.
in an environment and a society like ours.
Yes.
We may use the whole of life to keep talking about it, but
Wow.
so we just get to talk about the ones that are very paramount.
Okay, then I would start with this question.
Okay.
What a Nigerian stepchild, as a Nigerian stepchild, I know you're also a stepchild, right? You
Sure.
have step parents.
Yeah.
So as a Nigerian stepchild generally, are Nigerian stepchildren to blame for the separation of their parents in cases where the father and mother no longer lives together?
If the Nigerian child
Yes.
is to be blamed,
Yes. The Nigerian stepchild
child to be blamed.
for the separation, because you have in situations whereby
Yeah. Let me come up. Let me pick that question first before we start expatiating on it. How do we blame the stepchildren or a stepchild for the separation of their parents? These children came in innocently, not knowing where they were coming to.
Okay.
So they most times don't have a pre-knowledge of how their parents were broken up.
Okay.
And there are some other cases where the stepchildren are also responsible for the breakup of their parents' relationship or marriage. So it's a vice versa thing.
Okay.
You know, but in most cases, it's always the stepchild is always innocent of the parents' breakup.
Okay.
Yes, I think I will give it an 70-30 thing.
Okay.
Yes, 70-30, I'll explain. 70 is maybe when the children, the 70 goes to the child because of their innocence, that some the parents get involved in those relationships, not thinking of breaking up, but along the line, they found themselves incompatible to continue the relationship, and they are broken up, even most cases before some of these children are born.
Okay.
So that's why I'm giving it a 30-70 thing. 70 for the children to declare their innocence. Then the 30 is when the children are already grown up, and peradventure the mother of some of these stepchildren are no longer in the house. The man brings in another woman, or there has been another woman who would have probably left, who would have probably be part of the problem that led to the mother of those other stepchildren leaving the house.
Yes.
In a situation like that, you will expect a firehouse, because when the children are grown up, they want to take a vendetta.
Yes.
That something would have fitted into their ears that it's that woman, Mama Josiah, that was responsible for your mother's exit from your father's house. So therefore, most times if she sent you on an errand, don't go. Prove to her that she's not your mother.
Okay.
And the other stepmother wants to also prove her authority in the house. That I was not responsible for your mother exit in this marriage. Therefore, you must do whatever I assigned you to do for me.
Okay.
And the child feels oppressed, feels depressed emotionally and in every other way, and they want to kind of react, give, avenge by his or her reaction. And when this persists, it becomes a problem in the home, because the man will come in and instead of finding peace, he's meeting pieces, he's meeting war.
Wow.
He's meeting trouble, because the woman, the stepmother in the house, is always going to transfer it to the man. It's either you tell these children to leave, because I'm not the one that sent their mother away. I'm not the one that told their mother not to be patient, to stay and take care of their children. It's either they leave this marriage or I leave. The man becomes confused. Thereby, he's now a decision of the mind, and it's not an easy thing. The man loves his children, but he's not going to express it to the woman that he loves the children more than she does, more than he loves her.
Wow.
So that thing begins to chop the man. It begins to eat up his heart, and before you know it, the thing starts playing out in action.
So will you say that stepchildren are stigmatized?
Yes. From my explanation, I am a stepchild.
Wow.
In a home of 37 children by my own father. You understand?
Yes.
So everybody knows that a normal Benin Royal home is a polygamous home. So I came in from this pattern. I was born into a home, a very big polygamous home, and I had these experiences, and I can talk better about it. That's why I told you, if we want to start talking about it, we could be here till eternity. So what I want to let you know is that when this issue comes up, it takes a lot for the man to make a very stern decision. These are my kids, I'm going to live with my kids. It's any other woman who cannot afford to stay with my kids, no matter the attitude they put up, can go. Do you understand? But on the other hand, it's not going to be easy for the man to say it out. It takes a lot of courage for any man to say it to any other stepmother who lives with stepchildren in the house. Okay,
so from this explanation, yes, I have a follow-up question. Are stepchildren being mistreated by their step-parents?
Definitely is a thing that is occurring in almost every home.
Wow.
Because why? I tell you something. The fact is that, like my previous speaker said, you don't expect a perfect peace in a polygamous setting. You don't expect a true love in any polygamous setting. If it's any love you see in a polygamous setting, it's artificial. It's not genuine. Everyone is putting up that smile to make the father or the man of the house believe that there's peace. But inside, it's a war zone. So there is no stepchild that does not go through hell in the hands of his or her stepmother.
What type of problems are associated with this? What type of problems or challenges do these stepchildren face? It's not just, I noticed you've been talking about the stepmom, stepmom, and they are also stepdads.
They are also stepdads.
So what challenges do they face both ways?
Okay, the challenge is there.
Yes.
Okay, the challenge is there in the sense of a stepdad.
Yes.
There's some stepdad that's, like my father, he married, I know of about 4 or 3 women my father married that had children, that lost their husband. He married them in with 3, 4 children, 5 children. Okay. And he blended us up that we never even knew we were not of the same father.
That is your own experience.
That's my own experience.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Yeah. But there are some other cases where there are some men, when you bring in stepchildren to them,
yes,
it's like you are bringing in a total stranger. He feels, in short, not just him, his family will first of all start telling him and his friends and neighbors and say, you went to marry a woman that has children before. He wants you to train them for her. When they finish training them, now they go and you won't be able to train your own again. So that man now start having that poisonous mindset, and he will now start unleashing that anger on the children. First and foremost, if he used to pay their school fees, he will tell their mother, please, I'm not the father of these children. I can no longer pay their school fees. I've seen homes where the man will pay the school fees of his own children. He will not pay the school fees of the stepchildren. He already knew that this woman had before she married him or before he married her. Yeah, it's just like a woman too. If you are not good enough to harbor and to show love to the stepchildren you met before the man married you because you knew he had them, you know, it's the same thing with some men who don't also want to father the stepchildren they met with a woman before they married her. So it's vice versa. Wow. It only takes the grace of God of a man who is very, very, very true in spirit, who is very, very true in love, who have the fear of God to balance these things up.
Wow. So apart from the training, are there other challenges? Because this topic is an exciting topic. It's
very expansive.
Like you said, we could talk about it the whole day, but we don't have that time.
I've just said about one challenge as regards school fees. One, we come to terms of feeding.
Yes.
If the man used to put down, let's say 1,000 naira before this woman brought in her stepchildren, or this man brought in her, maybe the man, let's use the man first as the breadwinner first. You will notice after some time, he starts reducing it. He's reducing it to affect the stepchildren.
That's very mean. Very
mean. I've seen this as I'm a practical example for myself.
Okay.
He started reducing the money so that the stepchildren will be the one to suffer it, because when the meals are prepared, definitely his own children will first of all be attended to because they are seen as the bona fide owners of the house.
Wow.
While the other ones are seen as just mere strangers or tenants, and which is not supposed to be. So, and when these children are growing up with this psyche and is in them, they cannot express it, but it gets them emotionally depressed. Wow. It's like a video in their heart, and when they are of age to express it, they begin to grow wide with the man. And that is why you see in some cases, eventually that marriage may break up because the man will say, please, I can no longer tolerate these children. It's either you send these children out of this place and live in this marriage, or you go with your children.
But where do they want them to send the children to?
That is the question there. The question, when do you now want me to send these children to? Because you knew I had these children before you went into marriage with me.
Yes.
So that becomes the problem, the big problem there. But I tell you, in most cases, it ends up the woman living with her children because she will not want her children to live alone and be paupers on the streets.
Wow.
So for her to have her children to herself, instead of sacrificing her children for the marriage breaks up. And these children and their mother go suffering.
But has the society assisted in lessening this suffering of the stepchildren? I know there are enormous challenges that stepchildren have. I know one of those challenges is sexual molestation, whereby the stepfather is molesting.
I'm coming to that. As a social activist who work on the streets 247, and you're right, and I found out that I've seen cases, I've done about 3 or 4 cases where the girl is grown up.
Okay.
Of about 12, 13, 14, then the man start molesting the child.
That's a tender age.
I had a case, the woman is even aware that the man is, but because she's financially handicapped, when she leaves, she cannot cope with the upkeep of these children. She tends to patch it, she tends to cover it.
She's sacrificing the daughter to the man.
And until the girl gets pregnant, the child got pregnant.
Oh.
Do you understand? And even at the police station, the woman was still saying, it's our family issue, please leave this case. We don't want this case to go beyond this point.
Wow.
You understand? So if she was financially empowered and the society empowers such parents when they come up with such issues, so that these children cannot be miscreants on the street, I don't think she will want to begin to swallow such a pain from that inglorious man.
So you're saying the poverty has made her so hard-hearted?
Yes. I know of a case in Jos when I was in the barracks. I know of a case in Jos where the woman, the mother, had to vacate the marriage for the daughter.
What?
A stepdaughter. Yes, I'm saying it. I think if they are still alive, I left Jos quite some years back. The woman had to vacate the marriage for the daughter. Do you understand? It's for the stepdaughter to take over the
That's
home.
for her own daughter.
Yeah, for her own to take over the home. Stepdaughter of her.
Wow.
Yes. A living testimony. I'm talking to you. So there are a lot of things, because if the society attach importance to stepchildren, though recently, you know, those days it used to be if you legally marry to a man, statutory marriage,
Yes.
you cannot, a child, a stepchild, or a child born outside wedlock,
Yes.
is not part of the home or things
Yes,
like that. But I think
yes.
that is no longer in vogue. You are a lawyer.
Yes.
That is no longer part of the law. I think there's an amendment to that law or something. It's a child's right law. You know, that's no longer, I don't know how much of enforcement, but we are trying to make sure it's enforced, this child's right law. Once it's enforced, all these things will be minimized. Then we begin to do enlightenment campaign so that a stepfather, a stepmother will know the right of that child. And when it's violated, then the case could be reported and it will be taken up on both sides.
If all these things are happening in our society, we know we have laws that are there, child rights law, like you said, the
Yeah.
best interest of the child is paramount.
Yes.
We all know that.
Yeah.
But with these stories and instances you have given, it just shows how evil or how bad the situation has deteriorated
Yes.
into. Well, how can stepchildren now on their own? Because if no one is fighting for you, you have to fight for yourself. How can they combat the ills of the society, the ills from the
It's
the
difficult to
culture
combat.
and the
If
tradition?
you go to do a feasibility studies of the miscreants we have
Yes.
around the Nigerian states today,
Yes.
you find that most of them are children who have been introduced to extreme violence and neglect as stepchildren, as stepchildren from their home, from the man, from the woman. You know, some women too see stepchildren as a threat, especially when it's a male child.
I was going to ask that question, that as stepchildren, a threat, do they pose a threat to unions? Because
Yes.
you know, in instances, there are instances where you have stepchildren that the father is the father was not married to the woman, and he comes and he marries the woman, and he has his children. Maybe the children, as a result of death, he has children from the previous marriage.
Yeah.
He marries a new woman who doesn't have any child,
Yeah.
and then the woman comes in. Maybe he has boys and girls, and then she comes in. Does she see those children? Do they pose
Yes,
a threat to
a
the
very
union?
big threat. They see
Okay.
that's what I'm telling you. Everything has to do with this conscience.
Okay, okay,
There are human beings with good conscience. There are those that are with the opposite conscience.
okay.
So if you have a good conscience, not fully well, yes, because like I tell you, I do most of these cases.
Yes.
I have some in my. I had a case like that. The man lost his wife, got married to this other woman. The man had a boy and the girl were grown-ups of a tertiary institution age. Then got married to this younger girl who had 2 kids of about 5, 3. And the man lost his job. It was okay. Things were working well. But eventually, the woman now started the upper hand financially. So most times when the child needs something in school, the woman will tell the man that I don't have. Even when she prepares the food, when they were giving me report, I had to go settle the family, make sure they don't break up their marriage. The man said he was feeling bad. Each time I asked for something for my child in school, she says, Gary, if I want to, give me Gary to go and give this boy in school or this girl. He will say, no, we'll go and look for Gary. I'm not their mother. I'm not the one that killed their mother. Do you understand that fact now? And that child gets the message. And that child develops hatred for the woman in the house.
Yes.
And that becomes a problem for the man, for the house, and for the woman. Who do I send away in this case? Do I send my wife away? Do I send the child away? So he has a problem of choice here. It's a very strong problem, a very big problem. But if peradventure, the society has made it very clear that if you marry a child, a man with children, or marry a woman with children, and you know fully well, whatever love you're giving should be 50-50. Whatever care you're giving should be 50-50. If you send your children to Oxford University, send my children to Oxford University. If you send your children to that...
So are you saying that we need another law in this country to combat the ills?
Yeah, the ills, and rectify these ills, and attach a very stiff penalty to any violators.
But we already have the child rights law.
But it's not in full enforcement. Not all states are enforcing it. But thank God, Lagos State is really, because we've fought it hard with Lagos State.
But you also said something previously, that if there was a situation or a case you handled, and in that case, the woman said to the police that this is a family matter. Do not
we didn't leave it there.
Okay.
We didn't leave it there.
Okay.
We still get to push it up as I'm talking
Okay.
to you. I think the man is reminded in prison custody.
Wow.
The child we should be giving birth anytime now, and things, because we have to leave the child. But they had to take the child to the grandmother.
Okay,
So
because I wanted to find out the mechanism in place to help this stepchild.
Yes, because she was supposed to go to, we're supposed to send her to an SOS village, but we had to take the child to the, they agreed that the grandmother came and said she would take the child, take possession of the child and everything, and then we'll keep our eyes there. Personally, I'm following up the issue, right? Because it's a very, that case was a very dicey case. So, like what I'm saying, if there's a law protecting these children, if I know you have children, 5 children before I become married to you, and if I'm also coming to now have children with you, those children I should not be envious of them. If I'm envious of them, I should be envious of their intelligence, their progress, and what their future is going to be tomorrow. I should help them plan their future, because if I help them plan their future and they are doing well, it's also going to affect my own children.
Yes.
Because when they are doing well, I'm going to have a lesser problem. Because when my kids are grown up, they will take that responsibility from me.
So is there the absence of love in most homes? You know, it's not just polygamous homes, but you've said there's no love in polygamous homes.
There's love, but the love there is not a
peripheral love. Yes. It's a peripheral love. So let's talk about in homes now where it's not polygamous, it's one man, one woman. Are you saying there's also the absence of love when it comes to stepchildren and step-parents, vice versa? Because I have this question burning in me. Why do step-parents hate their stepchildren?
Because they see them as a threat. What's that threat? If this 10 naira, if you was going to give out 100 naira, that will go around if you have 3 kids and your stepchildren are about 4 in the house or 2, even 1.
Okay.
He feels for only just that one stepchild, for that small portion that will go to that one stepchild, they are seeing it as if it's a loss on their own part. It's a state of mind.
What about the stepchildren? Why do they hate? Because you know that in some homes...
there is no stepchild you show love. Do you understand? Even a dog, when you see a dog on the street, if a dog lives very close to you.
Yes.
And each time you see that dog, you want to throw your bad food away. You call the dog opposite your house and give the dog food. Do you know that dog, anytime you are coming, that dog will always run to you and leave his owner if his owner is not even treating it like that?
Yes.
Have you taken that sample?
Yes.
No, talk of a human being. So if you show these kids that love, you don't see them as a threat to your own. You don't feel they are occupying the position your own children are supposed to have occupied. Of course, they should have they've occupied their own position. And your children too have come to occupy their own position. So there's no way you can push them off their own position and make your children occupy their own position in addition to your own children's position. But this is what is happening. They want to push these stepchildren away, both the man and the woman. It happens, the man wants to push his stepchildren away so that his children can occupy that position. The same woman too wants to push his stepchildren away so that her children can occupy that same position. So this is the greed in the human heart. Wow. In the human nature, and this is the problem these stepchildren are facing. And when they notice it and they are getting bigger and they feel they cannot express themselves, and they unleash it out in a very violent manner.
Okay, can you take just one word of advice to stepchildren out there?
One step of advice there is that let them have a focus. If you know you are a stepchild, and because I had the experience when we were to go to school, my stepmother came and said, no, my daddy should not, he's not going to send us to school. He's going to send, because he sent my senior sister to school, she got pregnant, and for that reason, we should not send any female child to school. They send her own to school. But you have females, so they are sending you to school, they should not send us to school. Do you understand that kind of madness? Okay.
So one word for stepchildren.
One word for stepchildren is have a focus.
Okay.
No matter the pressure.
Okay.
Absorb
Stay
it.
strong. Okay.
Have a shock absorber to absorb it.
Okay.
And have that focus that yes, I'm going to get there.
Okay.
Have a target for yourself.
Okay.
And when you get there, these people pray they should be alive to come and tell you they are sorry.
Okay. Thank you very much for coming on the program. It was nice having you here.
Welcome.
Exciting as usual. Thank you so much.
Thanks. I'm grateful
Thank
for having me. Thank you.
Okay. Well, viewers out there, you've heard it all. If there's any takeaways from this program today, one word for the stepchildren: be focused and be strong. One word for step-parents out there: show love to your stepchild, and to the society, be considerate to stepchildren. Thank you for watching. I'm Flora Ungo Martins.